Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
We love to get our hands dirty digging into the stuff that really matters. And today we're tackling everything but money.
Oh, this is a good one.
It is. And, our listeners sent in some really thought-provoking excerpts from Jessica Moorhouse's book. So,
Yeah, I was really impressed with the selection. Morehouse, she really gets into the nitty-gritty of how our lives, our minds,
yeah,
even society, how it all connects with our wallets.
it's not just about setting up a budget or getting the best interest rate.
Aye.
It's about those hidden forces that shape our financial decisions.
Exactly. And right away, she throws down this challenge that money isn't this cure-all solution.
Oh, yeah. I remember that line. Money and success aren't the solutions to your problems.
Mm.
Like, haven't we all had that fantasy? Like, if I just had a big pile of cash, all my worries would disappear.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But imagine this, right? You finally hit that financial goal. You're on that dream vacation, but you're still kind of bummed out. It turns out money can buy a lot of things, but it can't erase emotional baggage.
Right. It's like that analogy she uses. You could be crying on a yacht just as easily as crying on a bus.
Haha, so true.
It's funny, but it makes you think, what are we really chasing when we're obsessed with financial success?
That's where the whole money story concept comes in.
Ah, yes, the money
It's
story.
like this script we've internalized about money based on our own experiences.
Yeah.
And these stories that can be so powerful.
Oh, they are powerful, influencing everything we do with money.
Yeah, how we spend, how we invest everything.
I loved the example she used in the book. Like Nina, she's constantly overspending, almost like it's a reaction to some past trauma.
Hmm.
And then there's Maria. Her family's finances were totally devastated by a sudden medical emergency.
It really makes you wonder if we're all just walking around with these invisible scripts playing in our heads.
Totally. And it's
Yeah.
not always a conscious thing.
No, it's not. Think about your own upbringing, right? What were the money conversations like in your family? Did you grow up feeling like there was always enough or like you were constantly scraping by?
Yeah. Were your parents super savers or big spenders? Those early messages can really stick with us.
They do. It's like we inherit these money blueprints.
I like that, a money blueprint.
And sometimes we don't even realize they're there influencing our decisions.
So the big question is, if we become aware of our money story, can we actually change it?
That's the empowering part. Self-awareness is that first step. Once we understand where our beliefs about money come from, then we can start to challenge the ones that aren't serving us.
We can rewrite our financial narratives.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, Morehouse, she doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either.
Yeah.
She goes deep into how trauma, both big and small, can have this lasting impact on our relationship with money.
Yeah, it's not always about logic and spreadsheets. Sometimes it's about these deep-seated emotional responses.
It's like if you've experienced a financial setback or even just seen someone else struggle, your brain might start connecting money with stress or fear.
Right.
And when we're stressed, we don't always make the most rational decisions.
No, we don't.
She uses the example of Jard. He had a really tough childhood where he felt powerless, and later in life, whenever he faced challenges at work, he'd make these impulsive financial choices.
Wow.
It was like his brain was stuck in survival mode, trying to regain control.
And these responses, they can manifest in so many ways. Some people might overspend to soothe anxiety, while others might hoard money out of fear.
It's those ingrained survival mechanisms kicking in, even when this situation might not call for it.
Exactly.
It makes you realize that sometimes our financial struggles aren't just about bad habits or not knowing enough. Sometimes they're rooted in deeper emotional wounds.
That's a powerful insight.
It is.
Yeah.
So what can we do when we recognize those patterns in ourselves?
Morehouse suggests a few things. Grounding techniques can be really helpful for regulating those stress responses right in the moment. Mindfulness exercises can help us become more aware of our triggers. And of course, if those patterns are really ingrained, seeking professional help can be incredibly valuable.
So it's about tending to the emotional side of our financial well-being, not just the practical side.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, how much of our relationship with money is tied to those very first relationships we have, the ones we form in childhood.
Oh, that's fascinating. Morehouse delves into attachment styles and how they play out in our financial lives.
I'm really interested in that.
It's amazing how our childhood bonds can influence how we approach money as adults.
It's true. Think about those classic relationship dynamics, the people pleaser who overspends to keep their partner happy, or the person who avoids talking about money at all costs. Can those tendencies be connected to their attachment styles?
Absolutely. Imagine someone with an anxious attachment style. They might crave constant reassurance and security, which could translate into clinging to money or overspending to gain approval.
That makes sense.
And then on the flip side, someone with an avoidance style might push away financial intimacy or struggle with merging finances.
So our early experiences of connection and safety, they can actually shape how we interact with something as seemingly impersonal as money.
It's all connected.
It's like we're peeling back layers of ourselves here. But what about those larger forces that shape our experiences? How do things like societal expectations and systems of privilege play into all of this?
That's where Morehouse's exploration of privilege gets really thought-provoking. She challenges this idea of the self-made person, pointing out that the playing field isn't always level.
Right.
Factors like socioeconomic background, race, gender, ability, they can have a huge impact on someone's financial trajectory.
It's like she's saying that while hard work and good choices absolutely matter, they don't tell the whole story.
Exactly.
There are these systemic advantages and disadvantages at play that we can't ignore. I remember her example of Rebecca. She grew up in a wealthy family, but still struggled with feelings of scarcity because of the emotional dynamics within her family.
It's a good reminder that privilege can take many forms, and it's not always about outward appearances.
Right.
Moorhouse also doesn't shy away from discussing how historical and systemic injustices continue to impact certain groups like indigenous communities, Black communities, and women.
It's a powerful reminder that we can't talk about personal finance without acknowledging these larger forces that shape our individual experiences.
Absolutely.
It's about having empathy and understanding the different paths people have to navigate.
Recognizing privilege isn't about guilt or shame. It's about fostering greater understanding and creating a more equitable financial landscape.
So we've covered a lot of ground already. Money stories, trauma responses, attachment styles, even the complexities of privilege.
We have.
Yeah.
It's amazing how deeply intertwined our lives are with our finances, isn't it?
It is remarkable how much we can uncover when we move beyond the surface level advice and really delve into the human side of money. And I have a feeling we're just getting started. But for now, let's take a quick pause. We'll be back soon to explore Morehouse's insights on happiness, spending wisely, and creating a life that truly aligns with what matters most. See you in a bit.
Sounds good. Welcome back. After that deep dive into the emotional side of money, I'm really curious to see how Morehouse bridges the gap to practical advice. How do we actually start making financial choices that support well-being, not just, chasing a bigger number in our bank accounts?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
And I think Morehouse would agree that it's not always about those drastic overhauls,
Right.
Sometimes it's about those subtle shifts in mindset and habits.
I like that.
And she actually spends a good chunk of the book talking about this idea of money well spent.
I love that phrase, money well spent.
Right.
It implies intentionality, right?
Exactly. It's not just about spending less, it's about spending in alignment with what truly matters to us.
I agree with that.
And she highlights a few key areas to focus on. One that really resonated with me was the power of anticipation. Have you ever noticed how sometimes the planning and looking forward to something is almost as enjoyable as the experience itself?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big planner, so
Me too.
I love that phase.
I remember planning a trip to Italy a few years ago, and I spent months researching these little towns and bookmarking recipes, and even learning a few basic Italian phrases.
Wow.
The anticipation was incredible.
That's great.
And Morehouse suggests leaning into that feeling. She even recommends paying for experiences up front, whenever possible.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like extending the joy you get from that purchase.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a big trip.
Yeah.
Maybe it's tickets to a concert or a weekend getaway or even just a nice dinner out.
Yeah, I like that.
It's about shifting our focus from acquiring material possessions to creating those memories and experiences that enrich our lives.
Right, experiences over things.
Exactly. And speaking of shifting focus, Morehouse also talks about buying time.
Ah, yes. Time is money, as they say.
Have you ever outsourced a task or a chore that you just absolutely dreaded?
Oh, all the time. I used to spend hours every week doing yard work, and it was my least favorite thing.
Oh, I hate yard work.
So hiring someone to take care of it was a total game changer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It freed up my weekends to spend time with family and pursue hobbies.
That's exactly what Morehouse advocates for.
Yeah.
She suggests looking at our lives and identifying those areas where we can spend money to reclaim our time and energy.
I like that.
Maybe it's hiring a house cleaner, a dog walker, a meal delivery service.
Yeah.
It's about making those conscious choices to prioritize our well-being.
It's about viewing money as a resource to invest in our happiness, not just a means to accumulate more stuff.
Right. And let's be honest, sometimes happiness comes from giving back, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Morehouse is a big advocate for generosity. She talks about how giving to causes we care about or simply helping a friend in need can boost our own sense of well-being.
It feels good to give.
It does. It's about recognizing that money can be a force for good in the world.
That's a great point.
It's about moving beyond that scarcity mindset and embracing a spirit of abundance.
Abundance.
When we feel secure and supported ourselves, we're more likely to extend that generosity to others.
I agree.
Now, of course, making those intentional choices with our money often requires a good dose of self-awareness,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to those pesky cognitive biases that can trip us up.
Oh, yeah, those biases, they get us every time.
Moorhouse dedicates a whole section to this, doesn't she?
She does. It's fascinating how our brains are wired to make certain mistakes when it comes to money, even when we think we're being totally rational.
Right. Like we think we're being so smart.
Remember the sunk cost fallacy?
Oh, the sunk cost fallacy. How could I forget? It's that feeling of being so invested in something, whether it's a project, a relationship, even a stock, that we just keep throwing more resources into it,
Yeah.
even when it's clearly not working out.
We've all been there.
Morehouse gives that classic example of the Concorde fallacy, where countries kept investing in that supersonic jet,
Oh, yeah?
even after it became clear that it was financially unsustainable.
It's hard to let go sometimes.
It is. It's a great reminder that sometimes the smartest financial decision is to walk away, even if it means admitting we made a mistake.
It's true.
And there's so many other biases that can influence our choices, like loss aversion, where the fear of losing money outweighs the potential for gains.
Right. Or the paradox of choice, where having too many options can actually paralyze us.
It's like our brains are playing tricks on us, and we don't even realize it.
Our brains are tricky like that.
They are. Morehouse does a great job of breaking down these biases in a relatable way. But what about those practical day-to-day money management tips? The nuts and
Or
bolts.
budgeting and all that.
Well, Morehouse doesn't neglect the importance of budgeting and tracking our finances. She's a big advocate for automation.
Okay.
Setting up automatic transfers to our savings accounts, for example, can take the willpower out of the equation.
Makes sense.
It's about creating systems that work for us even when we're not feeling super motivated.
Right. Systems are key.
She also encourages us to regularly check in with our spending and our net worth. It's easy to let things slide, but regularly reviewing our finances keeps us accountable and empowered.
I like that.
Morehouse even shares her own personal spreadsheet in the book.
Oh, wow.
I love how transparent and down-to-earth she is about her own money journey.
Yeah, she's very relatable.
She doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but she's willing to share what's worked for her, which I find really refreshing.
I agree with that.
And she doesn't shy away from acknowledging that sometimes we need extra support.
Yeah, we all need help sometimes.
Seeking professional help, whether it's from a financial advisor, a therapist, or a financial counselor, can be incredibly valuable.
It can be, especially when we're dealing with those deeper emotional patterns we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. Finding the right therapist or financial professional can make all the difference.
For sure.
It's about recognizing that investing in our mental and emotional well-being is just as important as investing in our financial portfolio.
I love that.
And speaking of investing, what about Morehouse's take on the connection between money and happiness?
Yeah, that's a big one.
She doesn't buy into the idea that more money automatically equals more happiness. She's much more focused on aligning our spending with our values and creating a life that is rich in meaning and purpose.
It's about the bigger picture.
It is. It's about understanding that money is a tool, not a goal in itself.
Right.
It's about using that tool to support our overall well-being and create a life we love.
I agree.
I love how she puts it, you are not your money, and your money is not you. Your net worth is not your self-worth.
That's a good one.
It's a powerful reminder that our value as human beings goes far beyond our financial assets.
So true.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great segue into what we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive. We'll be delving deeper into Morehouse's insights on long-term financial well-being, creating a plan for the future, and embracing the journey.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back to wrap things up after a quick pause.
Okay, we are back and, exploring all these different facets of everything. But money has me thinking about my own financial journey in a whole new light. It's not just about, hitting certain numbers.
Right.
It's about creating a life that feels truly aligned and fulfilling.
I agree. It's been really eye-opening to see how Morehouse weaves together psychology, personal experiences, and even those societal factors to
Yeah.
paint this holistic picture of financial well-being.
It is holistic, and in this last part of our deep dive, I'm really interested in her advice for creating that long-term vision. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, but Morehouse really emphasizes the importance of planning for the future.
Yeah, she's all about having that roadmap, a financial plan that outlines our goals and the steps we need to take to achieve them.
Uh-huh.
It's about taking control of our finances instead of letting them control us. It's about creating that sense of security and stability, knowing that we're on track to meet our needs both now and in the years to come. But Morehouse also reminds us that life is unpredictable, doesn't she?
Oh, absolutely. Things happen that we can't always plan for.
Right.
That's why she stresses the importance of being prepared for the unexpected. Having an emergency fund, for example, can be a lifesaver when those curveballs come our way.
It's like having that financial cushion,
Hmm.
so we're not completely thrown off course when those unexpected expenses pop up, like a car repair or a medical bill.
Exactly. And Morehouse doesn't stop there. She also talks about the importance of insurance. Health insurance, disability insurance, even life insurance.
Yeah.
It's not always the most fun topic to think about,
No, it's not.
but it's about protecting ourselves and our loved ones from financial hardship.
It's about having those safety nets in place
Here.
so we can navigate those difficult times with a little more peace of mind. And I appreciate that Morehouse acknowledges that we don't have to figure all of this out on our own. She talks about the value of seeking professional guidance.
She does. It can be incredibly helpful to have a trusted financial advisor, a therapist who specializes in financial issues, or even a financial counselor
Yeah.
to guide us through those complex decisions or those emotional challenges.
It's like building a team of experts who can support us on our financial journey.
I like that.
It's about acknowledging that we don't have to be experts in everything.
Right.
Sometimes it's wise to seek help from those who have more experience or specialized knowledge.
And that brings us to one of Morehouse's most important messages, in my opinion.
Okay.
Financial well-being is a journey, not a destination.
Ooh, I like that.
It's not about reaching some arbitrary level of wealth or achievement.
Right.
It's about making progress, learning, and continually striving to make choices that align with our values.
It's about embracing the process, even with its inevitable ups and downs.
The ups and downs are part of it.
They are. It's about celebrating our wins, learning from our mistakes, and remembering that we're all constantly evolving.
And I think that's a really empowering message. It takes the pressure off of having to be perfect
It does.
and allows us to approach our finances with more curiosity and self-compassion.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's a perfect note to end on as we wrap up this deep dive into everything but money. I want to leave you with a thought from Jessica Moorhouse herself.
Okay.
She writes, "Money is a tool that can be used to create a life that is rich in meaning and happiness. But it requires honest self-reflection, a willingness to challenge our assumptions, and a commitment to aligning our financial choices with what truly matters to us."
What a powerful reminder. It's about taking all that we've learned today and putting it into action. It's about being mindful, intentional, and creating a life that feels truly authentic and fulfilling.
I love that. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into everything but money.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling inspired to explore your own relationship with money in a deeper way.
And remember, financial well-being is a journey, not a race. Take your time, be kind to yourself, and enjoy the process of creating a life that aligns with your values and brings you joy.
Until next time, happy diving.